we have been paused, but we are going to unpause now. And there it is. The Grimstroke does come out. Seemed like a pretty obvious combo that Chicken Fighters would go for if it was left. And, well, I guess aggressive. They had bans they had to make. They do have to leave it go through, but they do get the fourth pick Silencer now. And that's one we haven't seen today, but that should be a bit of fun. Global Silence can, of course, ruin that combination quite easily, but that's assuming Global Silence is available, and as well as that, assuming he gets it off fast enough. Chicken Fighters, though, they go into the Lycan. Now, I've been wondering for a very long time how long it was going to take for a team to pick this position 1 Lycan up. As I was having a look at the, I believe it was the Immortal bracket, and I know this is not, pro games, but it's had a very, very high win rate as of late. So it does finally pop out in a pro game. Very intrigued to see how it goes. As it stands, there's not really any counters towards that Lycan, apart from maybe the Clockwork. Lycan doesn't really enjoy the Battery Assault and Cogs, but apart from that, seems like a relatively free Lycan game. An aggressive mode, they ban out the Timber. Chicken Fighters, do you get rid of the Husker now? Aggressive. Oh, there we go. The buffering begins apparently, but we may have to switch feeds again. In fact, it looks like it is going to be that way. Yeah, alright. We're going to switch feeds. Or maybe not. We'll keep an eye on it. I've got the other one ready just in case. They ban out the Sven, of all things, and now they go for a Legion Commander. That does give aggressive mode the Husker, and... well, I'm going to wait for that last pick to come out, and then I am going to switch the feeds over. So aggressive mode, they do have the option for the Husker if they do want to run that mid and run the SF safe instead. They've got 25 seconds to think about this. Very interesting draft though from Chicken Fighters, and it's one of those drafts that really just starts to run at you in the mid game. It's a very hard one to contain. Aggressive. They'll go into the Ember instead. It's another way to deal with the TA. Flame Guard, of course, burns through those refraction charges very, very quickly. Sunlight will be on the mid Ember. Thug will be taking the safe lane SF again. They still don't really seem to have a way to deal with this Lycan. So if they do end up losing their lanes, if they end up falling behind early on, again, they could really just get run over by Chicken Fighters. They just have such an aggressive lineup for this dire side. Should be a very, very interesting game number 1 between these two. Oh, and that's right. I've got to switch the feed. Give me 1 sec. Just going to switch it over now while we have a chance. There we go. Not really sure if this feed's going to be any better, but we may as well try and switch while the game hasn't started yet. Gotta say, this could be a pretty awkward Ember game. Like, you're up against the Legion Commander, so assuming that that Saberlight finds himself a nice Blink Dagger, shouldn't be too hard to catch out Sunlight. Well, Sunlight does play a pretty mean Ember, to be fair, but can just be a little bit awkward when you're up against that LC. And we'll get into it. Game 1 of this best of 5. Or, I mean, I guess it's a game 2, right? Because Chicken Fighters have theoretically won game 1. And we do have the go-ahead, so quick pause. Of course, we do go straight into the denial of the cogs for Thug. We'll get his nice little start to begin with. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they never fixed this. Like, maybe this is intentional that the cogs have souls. But it's been a thing for so many years now that you would have thought they would have changed this. It just seems a little too powerful. Like Saberline is going to be setting up to go for that bottom creep block. Try and get creep equilibrium going his way ASAP. Maybe not. He does actually back off towards the bounty runes, so just wants to secure those instead. He'll leave his pos forward to do that job of the creep block. Aggressive mode. They will be able to secure the top bounty runes, or maybe not. Seneko actually sneaks away with one. So it will be a 3-for-1 bounty rune trade for Chicken Fighters. It's a great little start for this Dire side. And I believe that Seneko is being chased down right now by that clock, but Seneko does get away eventually. We'll TP up towards that top lane. Of course, mid, you will see Supreme on the TA up against the Ember. It is obviously much, much better for the Ember to begin with. But Supreme, he can always just go back into the jungle and just farm up that way. TA just tends to farm jungle very, very efficiently with side blades. I see the LC falling very, very low in HP, but looks like she's going to be okay. Saberlight gonna have a rough lane. Like, any lane like up against the silencer is always gonna be very, very annoying to be doing in. It's just with those glaives of wisdom, it's just pure damage constantly coming at you. For an LC that has to get in close to get some CS going, it's gonna be very hard. Of course, you can rotate to the jungle, but LC is not really one of those heroes anymore. Up at the top, Charlie should have a decent time on the Lycan. Especially once you have some levels in that Feral Impulse. The passive regen can be quite high. Even the bonus attack damage you get just allows you to secure those CS so much easier. See Sunlight actually getting fairly low on the Ember. Supreme abusing those side blades. And the race to the Illusion Rune, Ember will find it. Supreme didn't really have a bottle anyway, but just wants to be able to deny it off this Ember Spirit. Won't get away with it. Mid lane, Supreme getting dived, but we have a very awkward pause timing. Looks like Milan was having some internet issues, so he does DC. It's pretty awkward though, like the Ember Sunlight is diving the tier 1 right now onto Supreme. This shouldn't really amount into a kill, but I guess you never know. And apparently we're going to have a look at the Lycan now. It's a beautiful Lycan. The wolf textures probably could use some work, but it's alright. You do have the go-ahead, Sunlight. Do you continue trying to chase this TA? Does have those illusions up to tank the tower damage as Sunlight. Gonna have to cop a few tier 1 hits, but Supreme is still being chased down. This will force out a rotation from the Doom. Sunlight forced the Fairy Fire up and will manage to get away in time. He'll salve up, and it looks like Milan's presence was enough to force Sunlight back. Charlie apparently has had a lot of Lycan games played over the last 3 months. Pretty high success rate as well. Having a good old time. And of course Thug, we've seen him on the SF doing God's work. Nothing to doubt about his SF. Like Saberlight, gonna be forced to pull the creep wave away. Spartan, just gonna be so annoying with that harass. Can't really afford to just try and trade CS in the lane any longer. So we'll at least force Thug to try and farm underneath that tier 1 tower, but he'll probably do that quite well as well. Sunlight, got a nice double damage bottle runed up. Or double damage rune bottled up, I should say. Supreme, he's had to go through so much regen during this laning phase. He just bought another salve. And that is to be expected though. You're up against an Ember Spirit. In fact, Sunlight, he does go in for more, but this time around, he's the one that receives a lot of harass out from Supreme. Pops the double damage rune. He needs that. He needs that bottle. Supreme. Find a way into the CS though. Bot lane. First blood will be the way of Spartan. Though Saberlight does eventually go down to Thug, but Milan finds Thug as well, and that'll actually be a double kill for the Doom of all things. And Saberlight. He's gonna be okay with that. The SF died. That's probably what's most important here. So 1-2 to get us started. Spartan actually tipping into that mid lane to refill the bottle of Sunlight. Supreme going to be chased down now with the Flame Guard, and even Desire going to be around with the clock. It's not going to be necessary though. They got the chains off and Supreme cannot sustain the damage. Top lane, Seneko, Inkswell, they're on Skylark. He's just doing that alone, and Skylark will just turn around and harass him out. In fact, this could be another kill going into the way of aggressive mode. Body blocks are there from the treants, and he does find it. It's going to be a 3-2 aggressive mode. Finding the kill lead. And so far their lanes are also going very, very well. Like, Sunlight has dominated the mid lane. The off lane is being dominated by the Prophet. And even Saberlight now being chased down by 3 heroes. Razors to come out. They missed the last one, but it won't matter. Sunlight with the rotation. just to ensure they secure that kill onto Saberlight. And an immediate smoke up. Perhaps go for a TA kill while you're at it. Sunlight just making a lot of work happen with that level 1 chains. They do spot out Supreme. He will run straight in. And, well, with that, they get the chains off. Desire will be there and does have the cogs. He has nowhere to go on this TA, and the remnants do fly out. He does go down once again. This is what you love to see from aggressive mode. Just pure aggression. They make it a 5-3 now. The only person really not affected on the map so much is Charlie on the Lycan, who has freely been farming up the top lane. With those level 3 wolves as well, he's going to be able to farm quite quickly. Doesn't seem to really bother aggressive mode too much though. Top lane, Sunlight, mid lane in fact goes down. Apparently we're just going to focus on Thug instead. There we go, there's the mid lane. So Saberlight did find a kill onto the Ember. It wasn't even a duel either. He just got a kill. Guessing overwhelming odds. Pressed the attack, did the job. Saberlight now does have duel up, so perhaps they look to get a bit more aggressive on the side of Chicken Fighters. Milan going to cop quite a few raises on the backside. Bot lane, Saberlight again going to be the target of a gank attempt. Skylark, he TP'd in from the back. Milan definitely going to go down, and now Saberlight, he turned around to try and help. He will manage to run away, but just barely. As aggressive mode do start setting up for that bot tier 1. They just seem to do this over and over again. Just around that 10-minute mark, find a couple kills, come down to the bot lane, take a tier 1 tower, then rinse and repeat throughout the map. There are going to be TPs coming in. In fact, the Lycan has gone into that wolf form now with the Helm of the Dominator rushing in after Thug, and they blow him up. Now a duel onto Skylark. He's going to get caught out, and there is going to be a winner-winner on Saberlight. It's a 2-for-0 trade, and they don't actually finish off that tier 1 tower. And it looks like Charlie should be able to set up on that bot tier 1 now as Desire. Going to try and go on Milan. Or rather, Milan's going to go on him. Saberlight is going to be there as well, though Cogs do push him back. Milan is just slowly going to chase him away. Supreme is going to come in from the side, but he won't be able to close the gap. Doesn't really seem to bother him too much. He's got a double damage rune active, and he is going for that tier 1 mid tower, but now Milan forced around it as well. Very low on HP on that Doom. In fact, Remnant's forward from Sunlight. He does get the chains off. Milan, though, still surviving, and Sunlight getting very low. Not quite low enough, but Supreme, he's not done yet. He still has that double damage rune active. Saberlight will rush in. He gets a duel off Thug. It's a lot of damage coming out from this TA, and Thug does go down. And that's our second duel win of the game already, as Milan finally dies to Sunlight on the Ember. But you're not going to mind that too much now. It's just so much space has been created. Like Charlie, he took the bot tier 1, applied some pressure to the bot tier 2. He's going to have his Necro 1 book up pretty darn soon. And Saberlight apparently finds another kill. Skylark has to be very careful down this bot lane because there is a Lycan waiting behind the tree line. He does have wolf form available. If he does pop it, there's really no way out for Skylark. They're going to start going in, but it's just going to be an ink swell. Still, that was a bit of a... Yeah, that was not the initiation. Bit of a micro issue there from Charlie. Kind of just threw the tomato in with the Wolves. So they still might find somebody else. They have caught out Spartan once again on the silencer. Poor Spartan, going to be food for Charlie as they head into the mid lane now. That T1 tower looks very, very juicy. Chicken Fighters will go ahead and claim it for free. It's just one of the positive things about having that POS 1 Lycan is you can just force down these towers so darn quick. It's the same thing that aggressive mode are trying to do with this Nature's Prophet. But he's just not quite as effective. Milan will show himself the desire, but it leads to nothing. Looks like Milan is just going to go straight for a Blink Rush, which, I mean, I can't disagree with. You have the Grimstroke, so you want to be able to get in and get that Doom off when the Soulbind comes out from this Grimstroke. Supreme may get caught out. Hookshot is going to land from Desire from a mile away. And Supreme, he was just farming way too deep. He'll try and turn around onto the clock, but he does get bursted down by Sunlight. I mean, it's fair enough to try and take the Radiant jungle instead of your own, but you've just got to watch out for things like that. Like, there is still a clock in the game. Now we will see a smoke from aggressive mode. It's just going to be Desire and Spartan. Not really sure if they find anything here. But maybe Charlie, who's fairly deep himself. Counter smoke now from Chicken Fighters. Saberlight has the blink up. It's a very quick blink on this LC, and he's looking for that third jewel of the game. Looks like he is going to find a great target in the form of Thug, and Thug, he has not been given any space. And with that, they're rushing towards the Roshar pit. Now, this is a very, very early Rosh, but I suppose it can be taken, especially considering you have Supreme with a double damage, and you have Charlie with the Wolves. And yeah, it just doesn't take long at all. They are going to try and counter this, but Milan, he found out Desire. They do at least take down the Doom, but it's going to be too late. The Roshan is gone. The Aegis has been taken by the AE, and now the Soulbind was thrown out. We're looking at Sunlight. There's a Soulbind. Skylark is being caught up with Spartan. They find both. In fact, they're going to find Sunlight as well. And Chicken Fight is just running over this game. 9-13, 2k net worth lead. In fact, make it a 3k net worth lead. And with that Aegis, they're going to be feeling a lot more confident across this map. Supreme gonna start rotating into that Radiant jungle. He wants to keep this aggression up. Who have they found? Spartan? No, it's got to be Thug. But there is a hook shot in, and Cogs. Still, the duel has been completed. Saberlight wins once again, and he makes a run for it. Here comes Sunlight, though, controlling all three heroes from the side of Chicken Fighters, dealing a lot of damage. This could be great for the side of aggressive mode, as they do find 3 already. Make it 4. The Aegis, though, from Supreme, going to be used up. Desire was a little too close, and Supreme is hitting very, very hard. Skylark trying to run away, but now Charlie's joined in, and he has a Necro 2 book, I believe. Or is that a Necro 3 book? No, it's a Necro 3 book. All right. That was pretty darn quick. And so 12-17. That team fight looked pretty darn good for aggressive mode, but they end up losing quite a bit at the end. And you've got to remember, that was a team fight without Charlie. Now the wolf form has been popped and he starts running towards that mid lane. Who are they going to go for, though? Well, it looks like they wanted to go after the Ember, but they didn't quite have Doom available. It was just a few seconds off. Is that a Requiem I heard? Couldn't have been. He probably just cancelled it off. Sunlight, Chains, gonna land on Milan. Hookshot there as well, but they do purge that off. Milan, though, gonna get trapped in the cogs. Does get caught out again. Aggressive mode. Still finding kills, even though they are 5k net worth behind. Chicken Fighters may have to be a little bit careful not to give solo pickoffs away like that. They can lose their lead quite quickly if they do. Skylark and Sunlight right now are the two saving graces for Chicken Fighters. Though, as I say that, looks like they have found Sunlight, that the duel about to end, and it does, but they got the kill anyway. So while you didn't really finish the duel off, who cares about that? You found a very, very important Ember kill. And that'll set up for this mid-tier 2 tower push now. Wolf form is going to be expended. Looks like Charlie's just going to go straight for a rush down mid. Who does he find? Inkswell won't connect on anybody, but Spartan, he does get ensnared up, and the creeps will take care of the kill. It'll be straight into the mid-tier 2, and maybe even the tier 3. You still have those units up, so you can make this push happen. And in fact, it's actually not going to take that long either. Tier 3 going to go down. We are 19 minutes into the game. The Rax is now under siege, so Desire does hook in with the cogs, and it looks like Saberlight may end up falling, and does. Supreme now doesn't want to be here any longer, though. No, never mind. A Soulbind comes out, and Desire does die. That'll be it. 5x forced out. Chicken Fighters get a tier 3. Maybe they go for more. Sunlight, he cops the Doom. Milan, he finds it. And Supreme, he's just cleaning him up. Triple kill for the TA. And he's got a Deso up now, so that Rax is going to go down even faster. They can't go for a secondary Rax, to be fair. There are tier 2s at the top and bot lane. But this will be a huge win for Chicken Fighters. They do go up to defend their top lane and try to find Skylark on that Nature's Prophet and Seneko. Oh, the Inkswell, it is going to connect in time. Skylark tried to TP out behind the trees. That will not be successful, but now he can just use his own teleportation. But mid lane, they're still fighting. Apparently, Wolf form was there from Charlie. They'll back off. They tried to go for some more kills just while they had the chance, but looks like they'll play a bit more slowly. Chicken Fighters, maybe take another tier 2 tower before we go for those tier 4 dives. And you can already see Sunlight, he's had enough of this Doom. He's going straight into a Lincoln Sphere on this Ember Spirit, and you can't really blame him. Fighters, they've smoked up, but it looks like they're only smoked just to be able to farm their own jungle without getting spotted by any wards. Fighters, they'll smoke up. They've got Jewel available. Who's that at the bot lane? Looks like it is the Prophet, trying to scout out with his own treants, but of course course, there is smoke there. Still, he realizes something's wrong. Still, they got the duel off anyway, though. Skylark, there's no way out of that. Supreme picks up the kill, but that's going to be some more duel damage going over to Saberlight. And Chicken Fighters once again can set up for another tier 2 tower. This time it'll be the top lane. And we are going to find out as well pretty soon when the Roshan's going to spawn up. The tier 2 just melts and they're going to go for a tier 3. They know they have a huge advantage. 13k net worth advantage, in fact, for Chicken Fighters. And nobody's there to defend the tier 3 tower, so that's gone. The racks, not going to take long either. And even though you have this Sleight of Fist Maelstrom on Sunlight, it's just nowhere near enough. This is just the strength of the Position 1 Lycan. And in classic Pos 1 Lycan fashion, he doesn't have boots. Doesn't need it. Wolf form basically gives you haste anyway. That'll leave them 1 racks left. You see aggressive mode, they are pushing out the bot lane. Chicken Fighters, they won't mind though, that just gives them a free Roshan attempt. And although they are aware that it's happening, it just happens so quick that you don't really have an option to, you can't even think about trying to contest that Rosh's bot lane. They are going to TP down. Can we look at that bot lane? There we go, Skylark. He had the Inkswar active on top of him. There will be a Sprout TP. Is it going to be fast enough? It will be. Supreme wasn't too happy about it, but it doesn't matter. They're going to set up for that bot tier 2 now. They have a 16k net worth lead for the Chicken Fighters. In aggressive mode, I mean, obviously they've got to try and hold out. They can't really get megaed like this, otherwise they just fall apart. But how do you hold out when you're 17k behind at 24 minutes? They will smoke up. They're going to try and loop around and get a surprise attack off. This is probably the only way they take this team fight. But Courier was there. Smoke still going to be broken. Seneko, he got the Soulbind off just in time. And there's the double Doom coming out. They lose Spartan. They lose Thug. They lose Desire. They lose Sunlight. This game's over. The GG has been called. And it's that quick. And that's the thing, right? If you can make the Position 1 Lycan work, you can finish games this quickly. That'll give Chicken Fighters a 2-0 right now in this grand final. So they're only 1 game away from winning the whole thing. So far, only 24 minutes being used up in this grand final, and we already are 1 game away from the whole thing being over. Nevertheless, we'll be back for Game 3 very, very soon. It is MLP Dota joining you. And like I said, hopefully a few minutes and we'll be into that next draft.